Hello everyone, Crow here again, and this is the second part of my tag videos that I was tagged by techromancer1 by. So this is the second tag, and this is the top 5 first-person shooters tag. I think this was started by Unearth VLL. Not sure how you really pronounce that. Maybe that's Unearth. No, that is Unearth VLL. I thought maybe those were Roman numerals, but they're not. So. Yeah, I'm not a really big fan of first-person shooters anymore, especially on the consoles. I really hate playing them with a controller. Really haven't given it a shot recently, but when they were coming out on the PlayStation 1 and I was trying them out, I just couldn't get anywhere with the controllers with it. So all of these on my list are going to be on the PC. And for some reason, I really like the older ones more than the newer ones that are coming out. So all of these are going to be really old. So I'll do these in order from building up to my favorite, I would say. So the first one here is, I'm pretty sure nobody else is going to have this on their list. And I vaguely remember this game to begin with. But I remember having such a good time when I played it. And that's Blood on the PC. That Blood is it's a lot like Duke Nukem 3D. Your character was like an undead guy. He had died and he'd come back, and you're just fighting your way through hordes of evil minions, and I can't even remember why. One of the things I remember being so cool about the game was being able to hold 2 weapons, and let's see, I can't even remember what the goal of the game was. I just remember having a good time playing it. So number 5, Blood. Number 2 is Doom. And when Doom came out, I couldn't stop playing it, the shareware version even. And then I eventually got the whole game and playing through the whole thing and everything. And so yeah, Doom. You know, really don't need to say much more about that. Everybody, I think, has played Doom. I take that back. I don't know if everybody's played Doom. I know that probably a lot of people who are into first-person shooters now have played the newer Doom, but for me, the original one is where it's at. Number 3, Quake 3, and I'll build. That's off of, and it's just because it was the upgrade to Quake 2. And after I got into college and was going to LAN parties, that was a big game that everybody played. And even though I wasn't as good as everyone else, mainly because I didn't play it as much as everybody else, it's still a good time playing that. Can't complain. That was basically a Quake game that was made for multiplayer, and it really didn't have a single-player component to it. I mean, the single-player component was having AI bots in it that were built into the game, mainly because people have did that for Quake 2. They mod it, put in all these mods and stuff, and with the ability to add AI bots. But playing it with a whole bunch of people, I played it with a whole bunch, at college with a whole bunch of people. Just really fun. Number 2, Duke Nukem 3D, and yeah. What could we say about that? Duke Nukem 3D is like an idol. Not the game itself, but the person, the character. Kind of a mix between that guy from They Live and Ash from Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead series, and even the one-liners straight from Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. Great game, hilarious. I loved it much more than Doom when it came out. Just a great game, all the way around. I like to, he beats the boss and then he takes a dump in his. What does he do? He kicks the guy's head off and then craps down his neck. That's just great. And finally, my very favorite first-person shooter, that would be Quake 2. Now, why Quake 2 over Quake 3? And it's just simply because I have much fonder memories playing that game than Quake 2. I mean, the amount of modding that we did with that game was great. Not so much level design, but finding our own characters and downloading them and then playing them over a network. And we played Quake 2 a lot while I was in the Air Force, and the dorm building that I was in at the time had many people who were into the computers and whatnot. And we didn't have wireless back then, but we took Ethernet cables. This one guy I knew had tons of Ethernet cable, and he'd be like, "Hey, you want to play Quake 2 with us? You know, let's see, where's your room? How far away is it?" And then he'd make a cable, you know, and then it would run it outside the building and into his window. I mean, by the time I left, it was hilarious because there was wires running all over the building just so people could play like Quake 2 and Need for Speed and all that. And I remember he'd come home from work, you know, get on to Quake 2. That's what we do, get on Quake 2, and there'd almost always be one other person in the game just waiting for somebody else to show up. And then we'd just start shooting each other, and then you know, then we'd have a big, massive, you know, I don't know what the limit was, and I remember up to like, I can't remember how many people would get playing, but then, you know, we'd get, you know, play for several hours, like 5, 6, 7 hours, and then get tired a little bit, and then show up, and then have a good time discussing the rounds that we did in somebody's room. It was just great. So that's my top 5, and like my previous one, I'm not going to tag anybody. I just can't think of anybody to tag. So, you know, again, if I do think of somebody, I'll make an annotation, let them know, and that'll be it. All right, so see y'all next time. Bye.
Whoa! Oh, no. Men should not have bikini areas.